Let's do week 2 of an Audi challenge, 5 nights of dinners, because I have way more dinners that I want to share with you that we have. So now we've got 2 bags of carrots, we've got roast lamb, we've got minced meat, chicken, beef burger rolls, we've potatoes, a pumpkin. This is all for the Audi challenge, and we paid this time $57.15. So first night up, we are going to be doing roast lamb with potatoes, pumpkin, carrots, corn, and my son will have chicken nuggets and the roast potatoes. So yeah, we had lots more dinners that I wanted to share with you, and I figured 5 nights just wasn't enough. Plus I had still money left on the gift card, so I thought, why not? So first of all, I picked up this piece of lamb, and I got the smallest piece I could get because it was the cheapest, and I knew that it would do us for 2 meals. So I'm chopping it in half, so half will go as the roast, and then the other half I will chop up, and then we will use it in a lamb stew. I had so much trouble trying to get this out of the net bag that was in, and then figuring out how to actually chop this up with the fat that was there. So the roast piece I just wrapped up in alfoil. I did spray it a little bit with oil, and then I threw it into the oven, and I cooked it for about an hour and a half. I checked it every now and again, and then the rest of the lamb I just chopped up into cubes, and it's going to go into a container in the fridge for a couple of days. I'm just fixing up first some chips for my son because he's going to have chicken nuggets, chips, and some carrot and corn. I just cooked his dinner separately, and then it was there, and then I made the roast potatoes, and he can snack on some that are left over. So I didn't purposely make the roast dinner for him. I knew he would be having chicken nuggets and chips, but also I didn't know how long the part of the roast would take. Sometimes it takes longer to cook. I never can get it on track, so it's just easier to cook his dinner separately, and then when the rest is there, if he wants to pick at it, then he can. The roast potatoes I just chop up, I put into a microwave safe bowl, cover with cling wrap, and I zap in the microwave for 5 minutes. Then I put it on a baking tray, and I spray with oil, put it back in the oven for about half an hour, while I do exactly the same thing with any veggies, carrots, potatoes, sweet potatoes, whatever it may be. Chop them all up into a microwave safe container, cover with cling film, zap in the microwave for 5 minutes. It comes out nice and soft, and then it goes on the same tray with potatoes, spray it with oil, and then that gets thrown into the oven to cook for another half an hour. And then by the time it's all done, it's all cooked kind of together. With all of the leftover scraps, I picked everything up, and I'm going to be using them to make a veggie stock with the chicken carcass that I had left over from last week. So while I'm here making a mess in the kitchen, I'm prepping the last of the pumpkin and the carrots and chopping them all up so I can just put them into a container in the fridge, and then they're ready together when we do the lamb stew later in the week. And then also all of the scraps got rolled up and then put into the freezer, so they're there ready for another veggie stock if I want to make another one down the track. I don't have one on purpose at this point in time, but you never know. So here's my son's chicken nuggets, chips, and veggies, and then it's time to serve our dinner. So we've got the roast potatoes there, and yes, we had a little bit of left over. We've got the carrots and the pumpkin, and then I chopped up all of the meat and served it up, and I also made some gravy as well. The next night we are doing burgers, so chicken burgers and hamburgers. I didn't purchase a lettuce because we have one in the fridge that needed to get used up, and I didn't purchase any additional cheese or beetroot because they were just those things that you already have in the house. I just focused on the main things that you would need to buy for said ingredients. So again, I am prepping chips because we like lots of chips, and then I am making with the mince 2 meals. One will be some meatballs and the second will be the burger buns. I googled what to do, so I am just guesstimating. So into a bowl that's way too small, I put the minced meat, I put some frozen onion, I put some garlic powder, I put an egg, and I put some panko crumbs, and then I just mixed it all together and prayed that it would look semi-normal because again, I got sick of watching tutorials about how to do it. People were going about this fast and going, just mix everything together. They weren't explaining anything. So I hope that I've done the best that I can. So I mixed these all up into meatballs, and then I made 2 beef patties as well. And again, when I cook all the meat, I just cook it in the oven because it's a lot easier. So we've got the 2 beef patties that are there. They don't look the best, but guess what? They tasted fine. And then we put the burgers all together. So you've probably seen before that I make my own chicken patties now. So I would have just split all of the chicken breasts in half and then chop them up to patty size and then dip them in the flour, the egg and the panko crumbs. I've also chopped up some of the chicken that you'll see down the track, and then we also had a little bit of chicken left over that I end up blanching so I can mix it up to be shredded chicken to use next week. So there's a whole lot of stuff I did prep behind the scenes. The next night we had the meatballs, so again cooked them in the oven. As you can see, my son had chicken nuggets, my daughter had the triangles. We bought triangles in week 1 and we didn't even end up using them, so now we have some for week 2, which is good. And then we served everything here. So here is the chicken stock that I did. So I've got the carcass in there with all of the peelings and everything else that I kept of veggies. I had some leftover stalks of broccoli and cauliflower that I'd had in the freezer from a couple of weeks ago. So I was literally just cleaning out everything to be bits and pieces, put it into the colander and drained it off. The funny thing is, and why I'm sharing, this took forever to cool down in the bowl, and then by the time I realized that it was bedtime, we had to go to bed, I just picked up the whole bowl and shoved it into the freezer, and when it froze with like this dome on top, and I wish I'd filmed it, but then it came the next night to cook dinner and I was in a hurry, so then I had to zap it in the microwave for 30-second bursts to try and defrost it enough to get it out of the bowl. So then when you see me in a minute with this big lump of ice in the stew, that's the frozen chicken stock that I'm using to try and break it down. And I'm glad that I end up using some garlic powder and onion just to help give a little bit of flavor, because this chicken stock wasn't as flavorsome as previous ones that I've made when I've bought marked down veggie bags that also does have onion and some basil and thyme and all the other bits and pieces in it, so I'll know for next time. So it's time to cook the stews. We've got the beef that the lamb that we've already cut up. I have no idea what's going on. I fried that off in a pan with a little bit of flour because I'm told it helps to thicken it up. And then we added in some more frozen onions because we need to use it up, a bit of garlic powder, and here is the frozen chicken stock there. Took a little bit for it to break down, so I just left it to simmer for half an hour, and then I threw in all of the veggies. I threw in a can of diced tomatoes. I had this in the cupboard, but I ended up purchasing it for the next week because I completely forgot, so I purchased it to replace and to make sure we were tracking cost. I added in some spices and let it cook for another half an hour, and then I served that up with some mashed potato. This made 4 serves, so we've got an extra one left over, and of course my son just had chicken nuggets with mashed potato. Next night we are having chicken and rice, and I'm just using rice from the cupboard because I could not find any in Aldi, and also you can only buy the big bags, which is like $2.80 for 2 kilos. So yeah, I've got the chicken, I've got the sauce. So the chicken I had already opened previously and made the panko coating for the chicken burgers, but I just filmed everything per recipe for all the ingredients we use as face value because it's a lot easier to show, and it's pretty easy just by browning off the chicken, and then you dump in the sauce and you cook the rice on the side, and my daughter isn't a fan of this sauce at all, and she didn't want plain rice, so of course she had triangles with the broccoli, and I made her some chips as well. So there is another week, well, 5 nights of Aldi dinners. Thanks to Aldi for the gift cards, and stay tuned because I'll be bringing you week 3 of some more family favourite